And we are live again on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel, a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard, and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. For part 2 of our Apocalypse Keys actual play with Ray from Sword Queen Games. I'm very excited to be back here with our same crew from last week. Ray, for people who weren't able to join us last week, why don't you tell them who you are, what you do, and tell us a little bit about Apocalypse Keys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Tony, for setting this up. So, hi, everybody. My name is Ray. My pronouns are he, they. And yeah, we're here to play some Apocalypse Keys. I like to make a lot of games. I used to have a game jam problem. I am reformed, I'm happy to say. So, for the last year or so, I've been working on bigger games, chunkier games, and Apocalypse Keys is easily my most kaijuist of babies of RPGs. So Apocalypse Keys is a Powered by the Apocalypse game, which is very convenient. And what happens is we are Omen class monsters. We work for the Mysterious Division. We are here to solve mysteries, hold back the apocalypse, beat back the Harbingers, and find the ancient door of power that they are trying to unlock in order to have the apocalypse happen on their terms. And we're here to try to get to that door first. So in an Apocalypse Keys mystery, you are trying to figure out what the ancient door of power is, who the Harbinger is, what's going on. But the very cool thing is, because it uses tech that we've seen in games like Brindlewood Bay and The Between, is that I have no idea as your keeper what the truth is. It is up to the players instead to figure that. And the dice, we have to see how nice the dice are going to be. So we're probably going to get into that. Yeah, that's basically Apocalypse Keys, and it's coming soon to Kickstarter. We're going live in a few days. I'm trying to not palpitate about that. We are currently at a ridiculous number of some kind that escapes me at the moment in terms of followers, which I'm really grateful for. So
and if you are not one of those followers yet, you can go to TTRPG.link/KeysKS. Theoretically, hold on real quick. Let me make sure that link's working the way it's supposed to. And join that. I'll check and let everybody know in just 1 second. But you can go head over there and become one of those many followers. It is working. I just typed it in wrong. There are currently slightly under 1,600 people. So let's see if we can get to 1,600 followers before the end of the stream. Today Amazing. There are 1,597 people following, ready for Apocalypse Keys to go live on Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to it. I know you were going to be back on tomorrow morning to do character study. I don't know if that's still happening because Sarah threw her back out, but we'll be doing Saturday nights, at least this week and next week for this series, maybe one more week, depending on how quickly we get to that door. And we'll also have Ray back on to talk about character creation in that. Speaking of characters need players. We've got 2 other amazing folks with us here this week. Let's go ahead and meet them again. Josh, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, and where they can find you online?
Alrighty. Hello, I'm Josh. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me online on Twitter at Ostrich Monkey, or also on Itch at also Ostrich Monkey. I like to make tabletop role-playing games, supplements, things. I have contributed a little bit to Apocalypse Keys, which is very exciting to talk about.
A little bit. It feels
like more than a little bit. Relative to what you did, Ray, since you wrote the game. But yeah, no. One of the mysteries in the book, I was lucky enough to contribute. So that was very, very exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And since we're doing a 2-parter, do you want to tell us a little bit about who your character is also?
Sure. So I am playing using the playbook, The Hungry, which is all about dealing with this all-consuming hunger, terrible power that really wants to be let out so you can go and eat things, and then terrible both literally or metaphorically, and then terrible things happen to everyone involved. It's delightful. My character Nero is this sort of fragment thing of dream / nightmare, loosely based off of the Corinthian from Sandman. So those are his vibes, very arrogant, confident. It has a little bit of some beef with this weird cat that we ran into in this house.
This cat saved your life. You owe them
Yeah,
so
but
much,
it was embarrassing.
you know?
It was humiliating. Jeez.
Awesome. Very excited to play with Nero again. Sherri, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online?
Hi, my name is Sherri Stewart. You can find me online at Twitter at Auzumel, AUZUMEL. You can also find me at the Gauntlet community, where I am a member, a player, and an occasional podcast co-host. So let's see here. And tonight I am playing Dread Archivist Eliza Corbin, who from the playbook The Shade. So it means that I'm dead, almost dead, on that threshold of death. I have a special and personal relationship with death. I embody the coldness and the end of the apocalypse. And essentially I'm logical. I would like to figure out what's going on. And I would like to boss people around and maybe be given some guidance, not bossing, guidance through things as well.
You're here to supervise.
Exactly, to supervise and to just see who knows what's going on and take their advice too. So that's Dread Archivist Eliza Corbin. Please use the entire title and name to show your respect. That's all I ask.
Or don't, so that she can get darkness. Either one. So
I'm open to all possibilities.
Awesome. I am playing the final sigh before the closing of eyes, which is I am kind of like an angelic creature. I am one of originally 26 tears that got cried by a god as it died. And now there are only 23 of us because some of us have merged and other things have happened to other ones. And I wrote down a whole bunch more names today so I wouldn't have to make them up. On the fly, because I made up a lot of sibling names last time. Well, I also went back and documented the sibling names that I said last time so that I would not get I know people are going to pick the canon apart for this game, so I just want to make sure. But I just go by Finn on a regular basis. My name is unpronounceable. It is the actual sound. I am a pale reflection of the glory I once was. I embody the hubris and volatility of the apocalypse. My power is faded, cracked, and deceitful. My heart yearns to worship and be worshipped. I'm also my character is very tired at this point. He used to spend a lot of time mucking about with power, but when we found him this time, he was just hanging out in an arcade. Works with and for Division on a regular basis, but mainly because I think he just got tired of trying to influence things in the world on a political scale, and just was like, what if we just fought the apocalypse directly for a little while? That might be fun. The character keeper is over the top. I'm a T-Rex over in chat who is joining us, missed the first one, but very excited to be here for the second one. This is Fred Hicks's work. It's a Roll20 mod. I'm not a huge Roll20 fan, but I will go ahead and say Fred did a phenomenal job with this, and it actually is a very, very good character keeper, and I was very excited to open it up and look back through my characters. So Fred has won me over for this character keeper, and so I'm very excited about it. But with all that said, we've already set up our lines, veils, our safety tools. We kind of touched base on them before we went live. We've got a couple different tools that we have in place so that everybody feels comfortable. Just a reminder, we also have an open door policy here on channel, so if you need to get up, move away, take a break, step off screen, any of those types of things, those are normal and you should do them. But with that said, I'm going to hand things over to Ray to tell us what we're going to do next.
Yeah, absolutely. So also I want to mention, because the character keeper is so good on Roll20, and Fred did such a good job because the Apocalypse Keys moves are very chunky compared to some PBTA games. So Fred did a lot of magic to make things very flexible, very easy to read and go through. So good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, so last time we didn't go over the end of session questions. I thought it would be a good idea to go over them at the start of the session as a way to review what happened last time too. Or I can pretend that's the case. Maybe I didn't forget that we were supposed to do end of session in between. So yeah, so usually at the end of a game of Apocalypse Keys, we go over a set of questions, and that's how we mark XP, right? And so I'm going to go over, it's 4 questions. So the first one is, did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity, right? So when we look back at what happened, you can draw upon specific scenes, specific moments. It is up to you, my dear players, to define what it means to be monstrous, what it means to be human. Sometimes in playing Apocalypse Keys, we find that the answer is the same for those 2 questions. But yeah, so shall we start with Dread Archivist Eliza Corbin? Did you do any of those things? Express your monstrous nature or express your humanity?
Oh, I think I was actually pretty monstrous. I summoned Death to answer some questions for me, and then I bossed Nero around and told him to just eat other past copies of ourselves with little regard to their sensibilities or his. So, but he didn't protest. So certainly I was right, as always. It's fine.
Absolutely. Go ahead and mark XP. I realized I should explain to people why Nero is going around eating copies of ourselves very briefly. So for the division, you have been tasked to find what is going on with the oldest house. So the oldest house is something that has been around before anything else. And in this particular case, the oldest house has taken on the facade and the shape and the dreams of a brutalist structure, a government building. How unfortunate. And there are time loops involved. There are shenanigans of memory loss and amnesia. We're not sure exactly what happened. We just know that this is the 13th time that you have tried to retake the oldest house. And the oldest cat is here to help you. Best friends with our dear Nero, at least in their mind, perhaps. But cats know best. And basically, we're here to explore the strange house, find that ancient door power, to figure out who that harbinger is. But yeah, I think that is correct. We know that there used to be 12 copies of you, but Nero went ahead and ate 6 of you. So there's this slightly less than there used to be. Nothing went wrong. Absolutely no unwritten laws were broken when Nero consumed them completely. It's absolutely fine. So but yeah, so go ahead and mark that XP, and yeah, let's ask Nero. I feel like you kind of answered it.
I don't know. Does eating temporal spatial copies of yourself, thereby breaking some unwritten rule of the universe, really count as monstrous?
Not really.
I'll take an XP for that.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And how about Finn? Did you express your monstrous nature or express your humanity?
I don't think I expressed my humanity at any point, but at one point I did have my skin disintegrate as the light and sound within me swirled out, resonating out my sibling's name, causing an echo to go through the entirety of the oldest house, flipping walls and doors around, which felt pretty monstrous at the time. So I think yes is the answer to that one.
I really love answering these questions. People get to be like, yeah, I was really a little over the top last time. So perfect. All right. And then our second question is, did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin? So the thing is, we know that each of our dear monsters, our Omen class monsters, you are special, but you are also precariously close to becoming harbingers yourselves. There isn't much difference between an Omen class monster and a Harbinger class monster, right? So did you learn something significant? This could be like as a character, but it also could be as a player. right? So even if your character always knew these things about you, if you, the player, discovered it, then that also counts towards XP. So Sherri, how do you feel about Eliza?
Oh, let's see here. I think that what Sherri learned, much to her surprise, is that maybe Dread Archivist Eliza Corbin and Death are a little more flirty and how do you say, let's say that he's looking forward to dying, and I would rather not. So right at this moment, so we're in a negotiation, and we both think that each of us are the ones that will win. So
yeah, that's true. That was fun. So yeah, go ahead and mark XP for that. How about for Nero? Did you learn something significant?
I think I, as the player, did. I think the act of Nero consuming other Neros, had the idea that, that is some sort of universal taboo. You don't eat yourself, like metaphysically speaking. So I think I, as the player, learned something there, and there's like this interesting, perhaps ticking clock about Nero's being, right? And potentially other things coming after him for breaking these rules.
Yeah. I'm sure that the universe isn't too upset. Just a little bit, just a smidge.
Not upset, disappointed.
Wow, that's so relatable. All right, so on that note, how
the
about
universe
Finn?
is your parents.
I think the universe is just disappointed in me.
Yeah, I and we by extension learned that I and each of my siblings have an item that we arrived in existence with. We found one last time, a small looks like just like a pocked meteorite from Akamet, like my sibling who was puppeted around in a bizarre form by a painting corpse ghost thing. And so we did learn that those things are in existence, that not a lot of people know about them, that some of them have emerged throughout history as items of power, and so we know where most of them are, but not all of them. And so we did learn that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and so with that, we move on to our next question. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster? Right. So this can apply to the other players, to PCs, but it can also apply to other monsters you met, NPCs. Right. So did Eliza learn something significant, or did you, Sherri, learn something significant about another monster?
Interesting. I think I was very taken by Finn's siblings and their actual strange, almost plotting amongst themselves for what their eventual fate will be. That there's like these factions and they're all lobbying for a certain outcome. And clearly, to Eliza's eyes, some of them are getting sneakier and more willing to pull something as time goes on. You have to keep an eye out on these siblings.
Right. That's true. We knew that a horrible death came to the sibling that resisted the unification process, right? And their poor body was used in this terrible ritual. Wow, who is the terrible keeper who came up with these ideas? So I was watching back the video going like, Ray, what are you saying? Which is a good sign, I guess. Okay, so on that note, how about Nero? Did you learn something significant?
Yeah, I feel like we all learned some intriguing things about Finn. So I think my answer is a little bit similar to what Sherri and Eliza. Like, I don't think Nero is quite as, like, scheming is such a negative word, but like, just, planning, processing it. It's more of like, interesting little fact, but he's too arrogant to maybe really care to the extent that Eliza does, even though he probably should, because there are some interesting links between Nero and Finn, and then by transitive property, the rest of the siblings. So like, should be on his radar. Will it? We'll find out.
So You also learned, you saw a memory of Eliza, and
Oh yeah, that's right.
right.
Yeah.
While you were consuming her copy,
Right.
no big
Right.
deal.
All right, that was very, very significant. With the other character's name.
Right. The assistant.
NPCs.
I realized when I was listening to the video that Vin and Finn sound very similar.
Sorry.
Do we want to rename our NPC a little bit, just a little bit, just so it's
We can
easier?
just call him Vincent instead of just Vin.
Okay. Yeah.
Vin is just short. Was just short for Vincent.
Oh,
so
that's perfect.
if we say that.
Right. So we saw this like moment between Vincent and Eliza that, well, Nero did at any rate. So perfect. Tony, you were going to say something? Sorry, before
I was just ready to answer when it was my turn. But I was going to bring up, like, we did learn, because I originally said no to this when I was doing my prep. I was like, I didn't really learn anything because I was aloof the entire time, as I should be. Then I realized we did learn. Like, I think my character thought like Nero went away and came back different, but we did learn that Nero was fed in a room in the division until he turned into an Omega level monster, because he was not quite at that level before. And so I think I thought that had happened somewhere else, and I've just discovered, because I didn't get all the details, but I think I knew the roughs of it, was that it happened in division. And so I did learn something significant about one of my fellow monsters, actually.
Yeah, you did in fact, that we learned that that Nero was part of some sort of study, experiment, project with division, was fed all these lovely harbingers just to increase their powers. So what a great idea. Division has the best ideas. Absolutely.
The best.
No backlash whatsoever. Yeah. Okay. So with that, our last question is, did you uncover at least one key of the apocalypse or attempt to unlock Doomstore? So it's a little early to unlock Doomstore. At least I think so. We could see what the players decide to do. But did we uncover at least one key? So I'm double checking like the number of keys.
You have 2.
Yeah. Oh, well, we changed one. So was that the same as?
Oh no, change a facet. Right.
Oh yeah, change the facet. So I don't know if that's the same thing.
But we do have 2 keys. I'll pop up our apocalypse sheet so everybody can see what's going on.
Oh yeah, that's right. We have a handy dandy apocalypse.
We do have a mystery map. So later on, when we're going to unlock Doom's door, you can connect each key to a facet. I had in mind that GIF of that dude with the conspiracy board. So we're all going to have that moment later. But so we do have 2 keys, right? I remember the first one, let's see, was uncovered by Finn. And then the second one was uncovered by Nero. Oh, so Eliza actually didn't uncover one, right? Yeah, interesting. So even though Eliza was moving things forward quite dramatically. So Eliza, because you did not uncover a key, you get to mark 1 ruin.
Oh, excellent. Everyone needs a little ruin.
Yeah. So what this represents is sort of like it's up to you how to interpret it for your character, but at the very least, there is some sort of subconscious desire to allow the harbinger to get away with things. And so the harbinger within you stirs a little bit. So
and for anybody who missed last time, the 2 keys we got, they're up on the screen, but they're very small. Corpse of one of the tiers, so me and my siblings, was fed a painting in a strange ritual. And then underground facility of division experimented on monsters. Nero was fed harbingers in order to gain power. And so that's a lot
of feeding going on.
We got some themes going, yeah. Who'd have thought this was a really good game that just, couple of keys.
Absolutely. All right. So with that, we have done our end of session moves. And from there, we're going to move to, let's see. I just want to check in with everyone. how do we feel about our safety stuff? I know we brought this up beforehand, but is there anything we want to add or touch upon for our lines and veils and other safety things?
I will ask one question. How many XP, how many rune to take in advance?
Ooh, okay. So it takes 5 ruin to get a ruin advance, but it takes 8 XP.
I will say that last time you did say we were going to be on half price for the stream.
We did. We are, in fact, 50% off.
50% off to celebrate the launch of the
Sword Queen
Kickstarter.
special. It is true. So this means that it'll take you, I can do the math. What is half of 5? We'll round. What's 2.5? Should we round it up or down? What does chat think? Should it take 2 XP?
Chat, let us know if
2 ruin or 3 ruin to get a new.
Chat, let us know if we should round up or down. Because if we're rounding down, I got 2 ruin already.
Yeah. So you already have a ruin advance, my dear. If that's the case.
But if we're rounding up, that's fine. Also, I'll just get one next time, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, or sometime during the session.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm one of those power gamers that tries to think of I either try to think of the move in advance, and so as soon as I get the point, I get it, or I'm one of those little shits that just looks at several moves, and then when the moment is right, that's how I play Hearts of Wulin, and I go, bam, this is the one I got.
There is zero disagreement in chat that we should round it down.
Perfect. Thank you, chat. Thank you for enabling us. Okay, so it'll take 2 ruin to gain a ruin advance, and it will take 4 XP to gain a playbook advance. So
now I gotta read some moves, which is fine.
I know.
I'll just be aloof in the corner while that's happening.
You would be both. So.
Perfect. All right. And so, yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna briefly mention, we just started with these characters, but in case you want to change what the darkness demands of you, tweak your origin a little bit, swap out a move or an advance, this is the perfect time to do so as we begin the session proper. So I know usually that's not the case second session in, but it's an option that's available to the players at any time that they'd like. And other than that, now we're going to review the state of the mystery. So just as a reminder, my lovelies, we have a complexity 6 mystery. Usually it's an 8, but for the sake of the actual play, I've dropped it down to a 6, making things a little more high stakes here. And so with a complexity 6 clock, it means that our doomsday clock is at 6 ticks, and we have 2 out of those 6 ticks. We still have some time left, but should the doomsday clock fail, I realize I forgot to perhaps explain what happens. When the doomsday clock fails, that means the worst case scenario has happened. The harbinger has reached the ancient door of power first. They have already claimed what mysterious power lies beyond the door and have begun their ascension. And so we will be facing the worst possible circumstances. There's still a chance you can get things to go a little right, but it'll just be against incredible odds, as I have learned every time I play Apocalypse Keys. The chances of the doomsday clock ticking full is pretty high. It feels like 50-50 so far. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, so aside from that, I'm going to look at the rest of our mystery here. Just as a reminder, aside from finding the ancient door of power, figuring out what's going on with the harbinger, the facets of the mystery that we have to keep in mind are missing memories, time restarting, the harbinger, the door of power. And so Sherri, I know that you rewrote the facet to be, why has the oldest house joined the division's investigation on the nature of humanity? Do we want to open this up a little bit so it's not just a specific question, just that the oldest house has joined?
Why they had enjoyed the investigation.
Right.
It, not which one.
Right. Okay. So the oldest house joined the division's investigation, or
essentially no, they're investigating the same thing.
Okay.
So let us put it that way.
Okay. The oldest house is investigation on the nature of humanity, right? So I'm making it no longer a question, just so that's easier, because when you connect it later, you can say why, or it could be a different kind of question related to the facet.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, so those are our facets. And yeah, so far we have our keys, which Tony went over. The Finn discovered this ritual. There was this like strange, wretched creature, this runaway, as Death called it, that was wearing the disguise, the painting of one of Finn's fallen siblings. It was fed to the corpse, right? There were these mysterious figures that were pleased by what this strange creature did. We know that whatever this creature was, on the verge of death as it was, it had enough power to throw Finn back to where the other two were. By the time the rest of us came back to this area, the choir, the mysterious figure, the corpse, everything was gone except for that glass coffin. So there is that. And aside from that, in terms of the context of our second key, the same room where the ritual took place used to be part of the division. It used to be an underground facility, right? So we know that means that the oldest house can like grab places and rooms and areas and change them into something else, right? Whether this is something that happens naturally or something or someone is behind it remains to be seen. So is there anything else in the mystery that we discovered that we'd like to review and bring up here at this moment?
Nope.
Yeah? Okay. All right. And so with that, I think we're ready to like jump into it. Do we have any ideas yet of like what the ancient door of power is, who the harbinger is, right? It feels very fresh though, unless someone would like to make a very brave like,
statement,
conjecture at this point. But yeah, so normally in Apocalypse Keys, especially with certain mysteries that can take several sessions, this is a good time to ask the players like, who do you think the harbinger is? What do you think the ancient door of power is? But we'll probably get into it next time. Yeah, we can dive right back in. So last time you were all in this particular room that used to be the underground facility. Now these catacombs, this heart of the oldest house instead, except as Nero was looking into the dream of this room, the whole house began to dream, right? And when that started to happen, the house was violently calling out to each of Finn's other siblings. And so we know that most of them will be forced to answer the call, if not all of them. And if enough of these siblings are in one place at the same time, and that place being this strange interdimensional place of some kind, it's probably not going to be good. It's probably going to be related to the doomsday clock ticking in full.
It's going to be loud.
That's a lot of sound, right?
It'll be loud.
Should we reset our impulse also too for the session?
That's right. Thank you so much. That's a good point. So our impulses, this is a good time to take a look. You can choose the same one, right? If you want to explore it, but you know, this is a good opportunity too, to shake things up a little. Right. So I'll give everyone, I'm going to be nice and give everyone a few seconds instead of me just calling someone immediately to tell me what impulse they're going to choose.
I've got to get mine ready. Given the state of things, I'm going to go with, did you betray someone you love?
Juicy. Right. How about for Nero? What do you think?
I am going to pick, did you infect another monster with hunger or desire?
Ooh, delicious. Okay. And how about Eliza?
Ooh, let's see here. These always slide away from me when I'm looking for them. So, let's see here. I think. Sorry, I'm having trouble. Like I thought I opened it and it didn't open.
Oh,
it
okay,
slid
okay.
away. Okay, so that was just me trying to find it again.
No problem, no problem. We can
What
come
is
back
it
to this.
below?
Let's see. I'm going
It's in the first column underneath the XP and ruin tracker.
Right here. I've opened it up for you.
Yep. Okay, there it is. I mean, that's where the side increase thing is, but yeah. Okay. Let's see here.
Right. So the last time you clicked on, did you go too far in search of the truth?
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
We'll stick with that one for the time being. Okay.
Yeah, sure. You can take your time though if you want to
Okay.
go over it.
I might change it. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, totally fine.
I did pick a new move though that actually affects the others more than me. It's if they spend a bond with me to get a +1 or something on one of their moves. If they ask me for advice, they can get nice things that go along with it if they take my advice, like they can clear a condition or things like that. So let's see here. It's like I can't read my own sheet all of a sudden. So I'm the expert here. So when someone spends a bond with me to get a +1 or -1 bonus, they can ask for my expert advice. If they follow it, they get to choose one. They can clear a condition. They can I can gain a bond on them so I can help them or whatever, or they can change a detail or context about a key. So if there's something where you want to make a key be something a little bit different than it is, that's the way to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Excellent. All right. So with that, are we ready to dive back in? I say dive, and I realize we were in the middle of drowning. If this particular set of monsters, I don't know if Eliza can still drown. It's probably unpleasant. It probably won't kill you, but it doesn't feel great. So we can't kill what's already dead, I think. So basically, last time, the three of you were like pulled into this undertow as the waters started to rise, pulled deeper and deeper into the house. I'm going to push a little hard here. I'm going to ask each of our monsters to describe a flashback of some kind, a moment, and tell me how it makes you feel, and mark a condition to reflect that. So I think we're going to start with let's start with Finn, right? So your last time right before this, you were like resonating, right? We saw a glimpse of the monstrous thing that you are underneath the flesh, right? So what flashback does your character go through or experience?
We are currently drowning, right?
That is correct.
I'm just gonna flashback to like the first moment of my existence, like actually being encapsulated in the ambrosial liquid tear of a god as it dies, and my first moment being one of confusion, of suffocation, of not like of simultaneously knowing far more than I should but not having any sense of who I am, and feeling overwhelmed, and in kind of feeling overwhelmed, like my power manifesting for the first time and kind of bursting out of the tear as it drops towards creation, and like manifesting my power for the first time as I do that.
Ooh, that is very cool. I like that. So what condition are you going to mark?
I'm gonna mark condition.
Like, how does it make you feel to have to be
I think I'm gonna mark
flashback?
raging as my condition.
Interesting.
I think I get mad at the feeling of powerlessness and the lack of control.
Perfect. What is the name of your sibling that you witnessed in the ritual? Is it Akhmet?
A comet screaming through the atmosphere. Yeah, Akhmet is the short version of that name.
Perfect. I'm still so amazed you came up with that on the spot. That was just really beautiful. Yeah, and so I think in that flashback, there's a moment where we see Akhmet form, right? And it flashes back and forth between seeing their face and then seeing them being unwrapped during the ritual as a corpse, right? Before we switch to what does Eliza see? What flashback is what memory is the oldest house showing you in its waters?
I think when I'm plunged in, there's this thing of I have no sense of anyone else in the world. And in some ways, no sense of myself. It's just cold and dark. And what it is that sort of long, infinite pause between life and death that I've done before, but before, death showed up to bargain with me. And now there's no one here. It's just me alone in that pause between life and death. And I think I'm going to take lonely.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. I sort of see like Eliza, that ghostly spectral figure in the suit, reaching out and there's nothing, right? Just the inky blackness, right? And as I'm gonna say, like, usually you're always with your cats and with Vincent, right? But here in the black depths, even those entities, you can't sense them, you can't feel them. And ooh, how mean do I want to be? I'll be a little mean, just a little bit. I think that's a moment when we cut to another part of the oldest house, right? And we see like this is a room full of infinite mirrors just reaching out towards an unending hallway. And within the mirrors, there's a moment where we hear a voice, Eliza? Where, Eliza? And we see this ghostly image of Vincent trapped in the mirrors, just duplicating over and over and over again. And we hear a voice. Is it the oldest house? Is it the harbinger? Is it something else that says, you're very, very important to her. We will find out why. Just a little bit mean, just a tiny bit. Okay, so we're going to cut to Nero. What does the oldest house show you in these waters?
So I think a little similarly to Finn's experience, this is like way, way, way back near Nero's sort of origin, when we sprung into being. And like in those moments being very fresh and raw and vulnerable. So I think the condition I'm going to embody is like this loss of control. So it's one of the hunger conditions that I got to create. Because it's reminding him how small he was, right? And also, there's this reminder of what division has sort of made him into to some extent, but he's sort of trying to embody this, real powerful, confident, arrogant thing, and then suddenly back in this moment, basically essentially just born. So.
Ooh, I like that. Very, very cool. Yeah. And so I'm going to ask, there was a time when you made someone else almost as hungry as you, when you infected them with your hunger, right? Who was this person?
I think this was sometime after Nero was created, but still very, very early on. It was like I think like the first, first feeding, first creation, right, of another hungry. So this was a long time ago, presumably. So I think it was probably a human, and being infected with this hunger it made this human much more monstrous, but in a very human sort of way. I think so. I don't know if Nero necessarily feels guilt over the bad things that this infected person presumably did, because of him. But I think for like the first time in who knows how long, he remembers it.
Oh, very good. Interesting. We'll see if that comes back later conveniently. I'll pretend that that's not my plan right now. Okay, so with that, my dears, you are pulled deeper into the house. There's something about the nature of the water that is drowning you. You can sense that the water is searching for something, right? And it is not satisfied. And even though the three of you can't exactly die in this way, it's extremely uncomfortable. And you sense that you're getting more and more lost within the house. What are we going to do to escape this predicament?
I
Ooh.
I don't like, given the mental space that I was in, like I have broken out of something like this before. I am just I'm going to like summon forth like a large like it almost looks like a jagged razor blade more so than a sword. Like it's hefted, it's sharp, but it's humongous and just made out of light and sound. And I'm going to like it's representative of my will to not succumb to this place, and I'm going to cut through the reality of this water and tell the house, like, you are not more powerful than me.
Amazing. So do you have a particular move in mind? If not,
I think I'm largely unleashing the dark.
Yeah. I would even argue, because going up against the oldest house itself, I would feel that this is power through darkness instead. It feels like you're pushing the limits of your supernatural power, straining to do the extraordinary or avert imminent danger. But what do you think?
Here's the thing. I was going for Unleash the Dark because I don't actually, as a player, don't think this is a true statement. I think I am trying to convince the house that I am more powerful than it is. But I am fine making either roll. However, if I Unleash the Dark, then I also have the ability to use my secondary move of honey-tongued and clouded minds along with it. And so, but I am fine with either roll.
Yeah, no. I like the idea of like, this is what Finn thinks that they're doing. Yeah, so let's go Unleash the Dark. That sounds very fun to me.
All right. So I currently have, do I have darkness? Good. Let's spend 2 darkness, because that's what I do. I don't think I have any other bonuses or penalties. And then we're going to click to roll. And that is currently, so I'm at a 6.
Ooh, so to get to an 8 is
yeah.
But okay, so before you decide,
sure.
So remember that you have the opportunity to spend bonds, which I know you have.
Mm-hmm.
You can pull that up to an 8 by spending 2 bonds. But you also, with Honey Tongue and Clouded Minds, you get to choose one from below, even on a miss.
Yeah.
So there is that. But what would you like to do? Either is fine.
And I can spend, if I spend a bond, is it just a +1? Is that correct?
Yeah, but you can spend as many bonds as you like. Mm-hmm. I have seen people come from Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
All the way up to
I immediately think I'm going to burn my bond with the darkness, because I am fighting, like this runs, it's specifically kind of counter to it. And I think I'll burn one of my bonds with Eliza also too, because I do think I'm actually taking my friends into consideration with this action, which means that I am actually giving Eliza attention.
After treating Eliza like dirt last session, this is so beautiful.
Which will take us up to an 8 instead of a 6. And
perfect.
Cool. So my options on an 8 to 10, as I scroll around. get past their defenses and inflict a condition, get what you want from them, avoid reprisal, harm, or cost, gain the upper hand. For now, expose a weakness or flaw. Confuse them for a time.
And you also have your special ones.
Yeah. I want to avoid reprisals, harm, or cost for this for us. I think I also want to get what we want from them, which is what I want is to break through this suffocating force and cut our way out of it, basically. And then, so I think those two things are the two I'm going to pick. And then honey-tongued and clouded minds. I've survived in this wretched state because of my ability to lie and charm. When I unleash the darkness through lies, which I did, you can choose one from below, even on a miss. A part of my lie will become the truth. I learn a valuable secret. They are tempted to worship me. They will give me temporary shelter or protection. I really love a part of my lie becomes the truth.
Yes.
Or they will give me temporary shelter or protection. But I feel like a part of my lie becomes truth. Like, what this means, I don't know. But I think for a little bit of time, I am stronger than the oldest house.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. I love that so much. Yeah. So I think what we see as like you take this like huge weapon, right, and cut through the reality of the water of the oldest house. How does your form change to show like your divinity cracking through that you are indeed this lie that you've told with your body? You are indeed more powerful than the oldest house.
Yeah. So I think, before we just saw like my head peel back a little bit as like sound and light emitted. I think this time like everybody is kind of lost in this kind of dark, empty space. And then I think like for me, I kind of re-enter that primordial form that I was in the tier. Like my humanity kind of like the human form that I struggle to maintain kind of completely dissolves in that moment. And I move back to being kind of that amniotic fluid-like movement of sound and light in a vaguely like not like in the most vague humanoid ideal, right? Like I have two arms and two legs, kind of, but legs might even be questionable. As this thing kind of this razor blade swirls around me, and I actually think the light of this thing like pierces and all of a sudden creates a sense of like people like the other two in the void can like see me like pulse out into this thing as the blade kind of swirls around me in this cacophony of sound, and then slices through a non-existent wall of darkness and we kind of like tumble out into wherever we end up next.
Perfect. Oh, you're gonna say?
No, and as we hit the ground, like I like ooze, like not ooze back in, but like start to like painfully coalesce back into human form.
Oh, complete with delicious sound effects. Like, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, I love this stuff so much. Okay, so as you coalesced and shimmer, we're not gonna describe too much, but I'll have that beautiful mental image in my mind instead. So the other two like suddenly appear next to you, and it's almost like the two of you felt like you were being pulled in, right? Like, and so at one moment you are drowning, suffocating, flooded. The next moment, painfully dry. Like you can feel everything along your skin just prickle as the water is suddenly not there anymore, right? And Eliza, you feel that whatever was searching and looking, right, whatever the water was looking for, it is unsatisfied, right? And so the three of you find yourselves in this area. It looks like an office space, except it's like huge. Like it goes on for as far as you can see. and it's in this open space. There are all these tables and cubicles and chairs and computers all click-clacking away. There are these huge stairs that lead up towards, it looks like almost like a sky, right? That's how far up everything goes. Everything is in shades of red and black and brown. There's a shifting purple about the carpet and the monitors. You can see like twirling, twisting, and turning gently along the stairs are bodies suspended in the air, and they're all just like turning very, very slowly, right? You can hear the strange chiming music coming from the bodies. And Nero, what you can see very clearly that the others perhaps cannot fully ascertain is that each of these bodies, there are dreams leaking out of their heads, right? Like just pooling around, dripping slowly towards the floor. And in the sea of computers, Eliza, when you move closer, you can see that each of them are just spewing out floppy disks over and over again. Oh my gosh, do we have to explain to chat? Is there anyone in chat who doesn't know what a
floppy disk is like a 3D printed version of a save icon on your computer, Josh.
Depressing. Anyway, so anyway, I just say that. I know most people know what I hope most people know what a floppy disk is. I'm just traumatized from that time in class when I had to explain it. So the floppy disks are spewing out. And Eliza, you notice that the computers are recording like something about the bodies, and Nero, you realize it means that it's recording the dreams that are coming. Like when you read the text, it matches up to what you're sensing in the bodies above. So it takes a moment for the three of you to reorient yourselves from being drowning to suddenly not drowning. And there's also the way the bodies shift and move, it's almost like they're underwater, twirling there a little bit, right? So what do we do? Oh, I also forgot to mention, only because it might occur to you now, Eliza, you know that you're supposed to find the oldest witch, like they could be a possible ally, and you know the oldest witch is infected by the oldest house's dream. So that might come into play here. We'll see. But Josh, you were going to say something?
Yeah. So I think, Nero picks himself up, dusts himself off after that whole endeavor with the not water. We're just going to, move on from that. It's fine. And seeing all of these sleeping and dreaming individuals, realizes he's in his element a little bit right here. So I think I would like to grasp for some keys as I try and I think pull out, because we can read a little bit on the computer monitors for those who can't just see into dream. But rather than seeing what specifically they're dreaming about, maybe looking for like the source of this dream, because we know something is wrong in the house, and we've had these sort of clues and allusions towards something. But perhaps we can find that answer in like the nature of the dreams themselves. So I think kind of walks up to where some of these floating individuals are, and then just like kind of gently like tugs, almost like someone like pulling back like a spider web or something. And then maybe like the dream starts to kind of coil like cotton candy down towards him.
Oh, perfect. I love that so much. Okay, so how many darkness tokens are we spending?
I am going to spend 1 token because that's what I got. That is 7.
So it's technically a miss, but we have our options available. You can mark ruin and still get that key. It'll just be connected to your own impending ruin.
Right.
Or you could spend a bond. Yeah.
I could spend a bond. But I'm going to mark ruin. I only had 1 up to this point, so what's another?
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. And then because of our 50%
Right, I can get a new ruin
sales
move.
special
Hey.
here, Sword Queen Games.
Such a gamer.
Yeah, but the power gamer in me isn't going to spend those ruin until I decide which of those 4 moves I want to pick.
Oh, perfect. You can even choose a ruin move from another playbook. Not to complicate things. I'm just saying. Yeah. Okay, so you have chosen to, you find more than you were ready for. You may choose to mark ruin, which you have done to uncover key, but in doing so, the keeper will reveal how you come closer to becoming a harbinger. Delicious. Okay, so as you pull and push and tug, I think there's a moment, right, where we see your harbinger self, just a flash of it, right? What does the harbinger version of Nero look like in this moment?
I think the harbinger Nero has sort of moved past the need for a sort of mundane human resembling form here, and just sort of fully embraced that hungry nightmare. So I think it's something that is always kind of shifting. Like you can see the outline of it, but then it's like looking at just like a solid shadow or silhouette, and maybe with like almost like mouths filled with teeth, sort of like going in and out of this like cutout in space.
Oh, that's so good. That's very sexy. So there is to Ray. So I think when that moment, the shadow like shifts and moves, right? We see it like cover the entire wall of this huge area as we realize the potential of the harbinger within Nero, and it flickers off, right? We just see it for a moment. And as you unspool the reality feed on the stream, you're trying to find the source of the stream, right? Like whatever is going on here. And what you find in particular, let's see, I'm once again referring to my lovely list of possible keys and have the joyful challenge of contextualizing it. Ooh. There is a moment when suddenly in the middle of the room, it wasn't there a second ago, there's a phone booth just standing in the middle of this office space, completely normal. People just like suspended in the air. That's what most offices are like, of course. And the phone booth, gosh, do I have to explain what a phone booth is? Okay, anyway.
It's the place where Superman used to go.
Something Doctor Who.
I just realized I haven't seen a phone booth in real life for a long time. So there's a phone booth that flickers into existence. It flickers in and out for a moment, like it can't quite stabilize itself. And Nero, you realize that it's feeding off of the dreams, right? You recognize when something else is hungry, like you are, right? And it settles, and then the sign on top that says phone just turns on, and you can see through the glass. The phone starts to ring. What do you do?
Well, it would be impolite not to answer.
Of course. And you are a polite monster, if nothing else.
Definitely.
Politely feeding on things.
Right. So I'll saunter over to this phone booth. Just kind of leaning up on the side of it, pick up the phone.
And
Hello?
so when you pick up the phone, you hear this clicking sound, like click, click. And then there's it almost sounds like you can sense something is searching, right? And then when the clicking stops, you hear a voice that says, "Thank you for your cooperation. The Oracle has taken over Division's duties. Your services will no longer be required." And before you can respond, you notice there is this black skeletal hand that reaches to touch you, and you somehow miss that there is this obsidian skeleton that's like standing here in the phone booth that only came into your vision when you answered the call, and the line goes dead. I'm also going to tick the doomsday clock because, you know, I'm being very vicious today in response. But that particular message was the doomsday clock ticking forward, basically.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I don't want the spooky obsidian skeleton to touch me, so I think I will leave quickly.
It feels
Exit
very
the phone
warm
booth
and soft for obsidian
for an obsidian.
skeleton. Even better, right?
I'm good. I'll pass.
Sorry, I can resist.
No, you're good. This is just funny. Like, as with much dignity as he can muster, as one can muster while scrambling backwards out of an enclosed phone booth as a skeleton reaches for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Nero's doing right now. And just, you know, maybe hoping nobody's watching.
Perfect. So I've written down what the key is. A phone booth built. Wow, this is hard to say out loud. A phone booth built into an improbable place. A skeleton made of obsidian rests inside, and we know that it's connected to the source of dreams that the oldest house is experiencing. But you also heard mentions of an oracle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna put that here too. Voice on the phone mentioned the oracle is taking over division's duties. Okay.
Noticing you kind of gracefully scramble out. Finn will say, well, perhaps next time you'll remember to thank those who helped you before you rush off to the next imperilment. And I'm going to take a few points of darkness for reacting with spite or arrogance, and probably feeling others are a little bit beneath me. And maybe embodying a condition, but I'm just going to go ahead and take 4 darkness.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a very good moment.
friend.
Deserving 4 tokens.
Oh yeah, burn. Dang, that hurt. Ooh, ouch.
I think there's a moment like on one of the stairs, the oldest cat just meows. That's all. Just, you know, just to signal they enjoy the burn. All right, Nero.
Oh, how is Nero going to recover from this? Oof. Yeah, I think it's just like he can't quite in the moment, you know. I think ideally this would be a perfect situation to be petty and mean about something, but I don't even think he can like muster that. I think he just sort of like glowers at Finn and like sulks off to go look at one of the computers or something. It's just like muttering under his breath or something. It's like,
feels a little petty. I don't know.
If it is petty, I think it's only at least 2 darkness petty.
Right. Okay.
Compared to the entire dress down he just got from Finn.
True. But yeah. And so, Eliza, what do we do? You hear Finn make a very good point, perhaps in the most arrogant way possible, but a good point, right?
And she says, you're looking a little bit more together, Finn. And I think she'll reach up to the oldest cat and sort of like pull him over into her arms and say, but we have made promises to each other. But she's actually speaking to the cat at that point. I would, like to say, it was the comfort and support move to essentially, because we've all been through this. She may be comforting herself more than she is the cat, but that is not the thing. But to see if I can create a bond with the cat, because I know that he knows the oldest house better, and probably also where the original, where the witch is. So these are my goals. So I essentially am understanding who my guide will need to be.
Yeah. So there usually is a comfort and support move. in a lot of PBTA games. In this one, it's called Reveal Your Heart. And I guess this is an opportunity to talk about the design a little bit, because the trigger here instead is when you reveal your heart and try to sincerely connect to someone. And this is only because in my personal experience, I've seen over and over again when someone tries to comfort and support another character, there's a bit of awkwardness in the player supposing what will comfort or support someone else. And sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect. So in Apocalypse Keys, I wanted instead, it's up to you how you reveal your heart, right? Like you're not forcing this on another character, basically. So how do you reveal yourself here, Eliza, to the oldest?
I do think there is that thing of when she reaches up to the oldest cat, it's like the cat, right? Which she has always had a life full of cats, and her fondness for the feline is still manifest even as she's there between life and death. That the oldest cat is a comfort to her, and that she would be a comfort to it, that she is there to help it as well. And she's really good at the scritchers right under the chin and the ones like along the just below the ear. She is top grade, cat assistant there in that way.
Yeah, and I think bit by bit all the ghost cats start to appear in the office. You notice that Vincent hasn't yet. Strange. Should be okay though. Probably not a problem.
No, I don't know if she reacts that way. I would say that probably the hairs on the back of her neck, which have no physicality, and yet she's incredibly aware of them, are standing up. Yes. But yeah, so I suppose I have to roll now, right?
Yeah. So it says you have 4 tokens. So how many would you like to spend?
2. It's the sort of average safe one that's supposed to be helpful, right? So,
right. I feel as a GM, I'm not allowed to say anything. I am very superstitious.
No, there's nothing that will help you in this. Okay, so I'm adding 2.
No. Oh, you can spend it here. I'm gonna reveal the one with Reveal Your Heart. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
Yeah.
And
then I'll just do this spend and roll.
Yeah.
What did I get?
Oh, I don't think it. Yeah, let me go ahead and roll.
Oh, it didn't roll. Okay, here it is. Yeah. I'm sorry. It was just.
Oh, no problem. Here, and then. Would you like me to click on it?
I keep hitting the spend and roll, and it's not doing it. So.
Oh, yes, you can click on the little dice. Yeah, I'll click on it.
Okay. Sure.
Oops, this is what happens when the GM clicks on things. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. I would have rolled lower.
How did it roll a miss with a +2? Cruel. So cruel.
That is my dice. So
I feel like we've been living in the world of low rolls both the first 2 sessions, and so
we did go over when
we did have a couple
things.
Yeah, Josh did a good job hitting it right on, I think, one time, and
so we are at 7, right? I will say what happens at the 7, but you can decide if you want to spend your bonds or not. Something interrupts or undermines the moment. A dire warning, consequence, or an aspect of the mystery itself. The keeper will tell you what happens next. Are you okay with this, or would you like to spend a bond?
No, I could spend a bond, but I can spend a point of rune too, can't I?
No, just bonds. It's only bonds that will help you.
So spend a bond to get a bond.
Yeah.
But it is with a cat.
Yeah, but it feels like right. So
it's a hard one. I think that's it. I think it has to be undermined, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Where that bad feeling about Vincent is going to show, yes, that it was okay.
Yeah.
Hit me with it.
So why does that excite me even more instead of making me feel compassionate? Okay, so what happens is each and every one of these, and this is a sea of computers, right? There are dozens, if not hundreds, that reach out into infinity. They all start to flicker on and off, and for a moment you see Vincent behind each of these screens like pounding onto the screens, like trapped within them, screaming out to you, presumably asking for your help before all of the computer screens turn off. And several of them start to melt down into that strange black ichor, very like the ichor that was inside that meteorite chunk that you discovered last time. And so as the sludge, it pools together, like you can tell they're searching for each other. And there's this awful sound that emanates as something wakes up, as the computers start to form together. And even though you haven't heard Vincent's voice in a long time, you hear the sharp whisper next to your ear, Eliza, get out quickly. How does this make you feel? I think it's time to mark a condition.
Yeah, I will mark a condition. I will. I think I'm gonna go with vicious.
Ooh, this is good.
And essentially, I think that it's time for the door of the twin moons to open up.
Wow, we are having a disproportionate response. The nuclear option. Okay, so this thing starts to form and coalesce and merge together. Like it's just 5 computers first, and then 10, and then 12, the sludge coming together, and these screens open up like eyes all across the body, and it starts reaching up. Nero, you see that it grabs one of the spinning bodies in the air and just eats it. And you can hear the sound of a dream dying, this horrible death as it does so. But my dear Eliza, you are going to make use of the corridor of doors, apparently. So
yeah,
tell me what that is.
I don't even think that she has that strong of a sense of that I am going to do this, is that she does that. And it's the twin moons because it's her and Vincent, and they're separated. And there's that sort of thing of like what you see are these two sort of in the darkness, 2 white faces, like with all this darkness between them, and the only thing they can see is each other. And in this, it's sort of that thing, and that is essentially that clarion call to the twin moons. And essentially it's a power of gravity and stars and of darkness and void. And essentially for that moment, and without even thinking, I'm going to say she's going to spend 2 ruin. I mean, she's just,
Dang.
Yeah, no one will take Vincent away from her. And anything that does will be crushed and and obliterated, and sent into the void. And that is essentially it. It is that everything goes dark. You can see Eliza, you can see that image of Vincent, and then this crushing sound, this sort of incredible pressure. And I would just say that I spent a 2 ruin. So
you marked 2 ruin.
Yeah, I would mark 2 ruin. So I will say that the twin moons will essentially crush whatever this thing is that has formed itself, and whisk it into the void. It's gone. And like essentially she can see Vincent again, like Vincent's there.
Excellent. I love it when we Sherri's like, I'm not gonna roll, because the nice thing about ruin moves for
Yes.
chat and for people watching is that unlike other moves, you don't have to roll for them, right? It is up to you to mark. Usually it's a choice between 1 and 2 ruin, depending on how intense and a result.
If you're going to be ruined,
like,
just go intense.
That's another ruin advance, because we're 50% off here at Sword Queen today.
That's right.
So
use a ruin move to get a ruin move right now.
So real power gaming.
Only if you click follow on the Apocalypse Keys
Yeah, you want to do
right
this
now.
And you have to use it for the very important things, right? So,
True.
No.
Perfect. Okay, so just so people also know, the move that we use is called the Corridor of Doors, and essentially Eliza has a collection of doors that Division has access to as well. And so what Sherri did is she chose one of the available doors. And so we have here the door of the twin moons. Excellent, excellent. And when marking to ruin, whatever is behind the door acknowledges your power and control and sees you for the fearsome harbinger you will become. They will obey your commands for a time before returning to the corridor of doors. If Sherri had picked one ruin instead, then the door disappears and opens up somewhere else in the world, right? Losing access to it, essentially. But yeah, so I think it is, as you say, right? You described it perfectly. The door opens up, right? And you can sense that whatever was forming, it is so sudden and vicious in how this happens, right? The door opens and the door closes, and there is nothing but viscera and gore where this thing was. Despite all this ichor and blackness and what was our beautiful word that Tony used last time? Putrescence. Putrescence. That was there. There is a remarkable amount of bright red blood that is left behind. There's a sense that extreme violence took place in the moment between seconds, in the light of some distant moon, but it is not something that we see on screen. There is only the violence of what was left behind, and standing in what remains of the viscera is Vincent, shaking, completely confused, but fleshy and alive again, not a ghost. And he looks around really confused. And he says, Eliza? And he looks at you. Why are why do you look like, where? And you can see like he's panicking, right? And you realize that this is the Vincent before he died.
And she stops and she goes, "It's okay. I'm from the future."
The future. I'm sorry?
And she goes, "You know it's Division. Things have gotten wonky.
Division?
I'm glad to see you, though."
And you realize he doesn't recognize what the Division is.
Oh. She's still in this intern phase. I look at him closely. How old are you?
Eliza, that's very. And then he looks at the other characters like, I'm a little, like he's a little shy. And he leans over and whispers, "Aren't we both 23?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. What's that? It's too strong.
Why are you whispering?
I don't want them to hear me."
Okay. She goes,
"This other one looks very scary." And you don't know which one he's talking about.
"They are scary." She goes, "You're going to have to stay close." She goes, "Things have changed."
And he grabs the cat. Like this is a cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why does the cat look like? Where are we?
We're in the oldest house.
The oldest? What?
We're in a magical place.
Magic? Eliza,
Yes.
You can't believe in magic. And you realize the way he's talking to you. He doesn't know what Division is. He's confused that you know magic. There's something off.
Yeah, it is. But still, it's Vincent.
It is, in fact, Vincent. Alive Vincent, fleshy Vincent, full of blood and bone, not a ghost.
It's a great gift, and I have to protect it. So that's all I know. And I will, with every vicious atom in my body. So, and she's like, she goes, "It doesn't matter. Do what I say."
Oh, like normal. Okay.
Yes, some things remain the same.
And
she
so,
gathers her dignity.
Finn and Nero, you notice as Eliza's having this moment that each of the bodies that are still twisting gently in the air all start to change. They all look like Vincent now. And we're going to pause and take a break here for a few minutes.
Sounds great. We are in the middle of playing a part 2 of our Apocalypse Keys, at least 3-part adventure. We're going to be back in just a few minutes to keep on playing. If you have not yet, go to TTRPG.link /KeysKS to sign up to follow the campaign. When we started, we were just shy of 1,600 over on the campaign page. We would love to break that while we're here on stream. So go check it out if you haven't at TTRPG.link /KeysKS. We'll be right back. We'll be back in just one moment to keep on playing, but just a reminder that we've got some amazing things coming up. We do have an interview scheduled with Ray that we are rescheduling for sometime soon. Sarah, who is part of the character study for Cult EXE interview team, hurt their back this week, so we will be rescheduling that for an upcoming date. But we are doing Apocalypse Keys for the first at least 3 Saturdays at this same time during September. Come join us even into the campaign. We'll also have a short review video going up in a couple of weeks, talking about my thoughts in an extended way about how to play the game, as well as kind of breaking down my experience of playing it all in about 5 minutes over on the YouTube channel. And then on the 18th, we do have a Through the Void, Made for the Void, how to hack our house, old school style, narrative forward space adventure system called Through the Void. We're going to be doing a 2-hour workshop on just hacking in that system as we get ready to go to our Kickstarter, so come back for that. We also have some other great games scheduled for during this week that I just don't have the previews ready for, so keep an eye on the channel to know when we are going live. Hit follow either here or subscribe over on YouTube. We do multi-platform streams, so wherever you like to watch is great. We'll be back in just a few moments to keep on playing Apocalypse Keys. We are live again here on Plus One EXP, having exercised a few nuclear options over the last little bit. I'm going to hand things back over to Ray to take us back into the game.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It was amazing to see Eliza show that they are indeed a harbinger in the making, perhaps as well. So, okay, just to recap where we are in terms of the mystery, we have a new key, right? Procured from our dreamers who now suspiciously look like Vincent, probably totally fine, probably not another sign of the impending apocalypse. And so we are at 3 keys right now, but we are also at 3 ticks of the doomsday clock. So we're a little like neck to neck here. You find yourselves in what you realize is the control room of the oldest house. You don't know how you know this information. It's just instinctively, all 3 of you understand that this is the control room, right? So this is probably why Nero is able to source and find out more information about where the dreams are coming from. I also want to stress that as part of this game, it is perfectly okay if the players, like, we don't exactly know what the keys mean just yet, right? But later when we're making sense of things, you can always go back to this moment like, aha, and that's when I realized, right? So very Sherlockian, if you will. But yeah, we did have to deal with a goopy, creepy, ichor-like monster. And this is also when the oldest cat, who had been really silent up to this point, only saying a meow to make Nero feel a little worse over the trust down that they got. Best friends, absolutely best friends. That's what best friends do. The oldest cat turns to you, Eliza, and says, it's good to see that you are so capable. That was an infiltrator, but you are such a natural, dear. Much better than the last 12 times when that happened. But I only remembered now, after it happened. Kind of inconvenience, how that is.
Very. And she sort of says, where's the witch?
And the oldest cat, like, looks from side to side. But you can see, like, there's a bit of a surprise, because you learned about the oldest witch from Death, not from the oldest cat. But the oldest cat gives you a division agent wink, like, you must have your ways. We did establish that the oldest cat is secretly an agent for division. Well, you established that with your move. And so the cat, like, looks around, jumps down. I can't resist. Walks over to Nero, rubbing up against his leg, and says, it would be so much easier for me to find the oldest house if I had a better position, they say, even though they were held up just a moment ago by Eliza, and they insist on being held up by Nero right now. However will I remember where the oldest witch is if I'm not going to be helped here?
Nero, like, points to one of the nearby, like, chairs or desks that, all these computers and stuff are around, is like, I think you can hop up over there.
What, with these tiny kitten ankles? And they, like, pull up their arms to, like, bring it to their face and give you this, like, big-eyed look.
Letting out a sigh, because cats are probably even more stubborn than Nero. And he will pick up the oldest cat, but, kind of literally holding it at, like, arm's length.
Purr.
Just like a wet sack or something. Just like, okay, cat. Which way?
Holding it like a laser cat.
Yes. And so I think this is so we're looking for the oldest witch, right? I think this is a good time to use a custom move that comes sorry, I just saw the title of the move. That comes with this mystery. It is called Servants of the Oldest Cat. So Nero, my dear servant. I forgot I named this move that. I own cats. I am their servant, so that's probably what happened. When you attempt to follow the oldest cat's guidance to navigate the oldest house, spend darkness tokens and roll. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. I'll go ahead and spend 1 darkness token. That's a 4.
That's it's because you didn't cuddle the oldest cat.
Nice.
Cat.
Someone else should have taken this cat from me. So really, it's everybody else's fault. It's not mine.
I almost picked it up, but I didn't.
Okay, so let me just refer to it. Ooh, okay, so on a 4, that's so hard to pull it up to anything else. Okay, so on a 7-, the infiltrators intervene and temporarily cut off communication with the oldest cat. Prepare for the horrors of reality, fully corrupted. So, yeah. Oh no. Okay.
I mean, technically speaking, I do have 4 bonds I could spend to bring us to an 8.
You could.
Could spend them all.
You could.
Um,
you would just have to get very close to people and open your heart to them,
right.
and gain more bonds. You know.
And that's awful. Why on earth would I want to do that? Infiltrators intervene, temporarily cut off communication. You know what? I think I will go ahead and spend the bond.
Gasp.
Ask for my advice too.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I assume you're going to spend some from Eliza.
Yeah, well, I have 4 bonds total spread across both my companions and also what the darkness demands. So I could spend literally all of them.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like the moment where Nero asks for Eliza for advice is more like, we start walking, it's like pointing the cat. It's like, it's like a dowsing rod sort of situation. Like, what's going on here, cat? And then maybe just looking over at Eliza, it's like, you know how cats work. What's the deal here?
She says, put it over your shoulder like a baby.
Fine. It'll get us out of this place.
Purr.
Yeah.
So I will acquiesce and sling the cat over my shoulder.
You can choose to clear a condition, gain a bond on them, or they can choose I gain a bond with you, or you can change a detail or context about a key.
I like the keys we have so now. So that was clear a condition, or I gain a bond with you, or you gain a bond with me.
I'm not sure which. It says you gain a bond on them.
Right. So Eliza gains
so
a
that
bond
would
with you,
be
basically.
Yeah. I suppose I can be selfish and clear a condition. You know what? I'm gonna keep the condition because it's another way I could potentially get darkness tokens. So if you would like to gain a bond with Nero,
sure,
you do that.
I find it endearing that you actually do that. Don't even realize it, but then you're patting the cat as you.
Terrible. Yeah, and I think I feel like not justify, but to describe why all these bonds are being spent. I feel like this is not the first time the 3 of you have navigated a strange place where Nero was forced to pick up something and hold it close. It feels like this is an ongoing thing. Last time it was Finn who suggested it, and now it's Eliza who did. Does that make sense? Does that feel appropriate? So I can't help but feel like last time, instead of a cat, it was like something really weird, like a badger or an armadillo, like that Nero had to burp. But yeah. So
somebody at Division makes really cute pictures of the experiences after the fact and posts them on the break room refrigerator.
Oh my gosh, cut to the break room with Nero with an armadillo. Over the shoulder.
It's like the worst expression on his face. It's like disgust.
So good.
Can't believe it.
Perfection.
Can't believe it.
But so instead of the infiltrators intervening, you wander into a welcoming area of the oldest house. Choose one. I'm going to say that already your intention was to find the oldest witch, so that person will already be here, right? But what other option would you like to choose? You can choose, you find a friendly face, so another one, assuming the oldest witch is friendly. You find an object from the oldest cat that can help you, or you find evidence from your past self about what to do next. That is so funny because you have eaten some of them.
Yeah.
But
it happens. I think I am going to go with the third option. Some sort of clue on what to do next might be interesting.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so as you move through the house, so like first you were holding out the cat like a dowsing rod, and then now you are, right? You notice that if you stop patting the cat, they stop purring and you stop knowing where to go. So you have to unfortunately keep patting the cat. right? As the purrs get louder and louder against your chest. And this powerful interdimensional being that is capable of warping reality through dreams is also a baby. So, very typical. And you find yourselves, after following diligently the instructions of the oldest cat, you are now... Ooh. Yeah, you find yourself in what appears to be a hotel lobby, right? So you can see like there's this grand chandelier. It's so huge for a chandelier, far larger than what you would find in the outside world. There's incredibly lush, dark red carpeting. There's a friendly swarm of bellboys. They unfortunately, none of them have a face, but that is okay. Right? They all move to take your bags. You didn't realize you had bags with you. Apparently, there are bags. You realize that there's all this luggage behind you that you don't remember taking. Eliza, you notice, like, because Finn has handed you baggage before, you're very familiar with it.
Yeah.
So you notice, like, there is evidence of where the baggage has been. It's sort of like when you go through an airport.
Customs, airport.
Right?
You see the stickers on it from the flight.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Except here it's from like different times, right?
Ooh.
So it says here 1989, 1972, right? You notice the year that you died is a red sticker that's on several of the baggages that are near you. Almost like it's emotional baggage of some kind. I can resist. Sorry.
And I have a thing of, I see Vincent going to pick some of that up and I start to stop him. And I had a start a session move.
But that we forgot.
Call for it. No,
yeah.
We didn't forget it. It seemed like there were a better time for it. And this is a good one because it's just a flashback to a time with my mentor. So I still have some darkness points. I'll spend those too.
I mean, if he could, I was going to say, like, I feel like there were also opportune moments to grab tokens, but yes. Oh,
did I roll? It was a +0.
Oh, and you rolled twice by accident.
Oh,
I'm going to take the first one. I'm going to take the first one because the first one's a 9.
Well, and add 2 to, or I think you would have to add 2 to it. Well, I should shut up right at this time then. Just shut up, Sherri. I was trying to hit the little plus button, but apparently my old shaky hands hit the dice.
No problem. All right, so it is. But if we go with the first roll, it'll become an 11. So you know what? We're gonna go with the 7.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. How about? Oh gosh, I always feel I don't know what's the right call. Chat. What should we do? Should we have Sherri roll again with the +2 or take? I feel like I've been clearing
because this was inadvertent.
Sherri.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see.
I rolled again. What was it?
With a +2 this time. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't put it.
Oh, perfect hit.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So as long as you got that perfect hit, then that's fine. So you flash back to a moment when your mentor was pleased with you. Their sinister riddles make sense of what is going on in the present as you look at these blank faces of the bellboys, right? You see them picking up the baggage, right? You see like the concierge in the distance is beckoning you over, right? Mm-hmm. And they're holding like a key in their hand. But what options do you choose?
That's a really good question. Let's see here. I think, how many do you get? I got to read the text again.
You get to choose 2. So your options are, actually, this is a good time to like read out the options.
Let's talk about it.
They taught you that emotions only get in the way. Clear one condition. Or they taught you to recognize undercover division agents, name an NPC who is such an agent, and gain 1 bond with them. I will say it doesn't have to just be an NPC who's here. You can make one up. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Then they taught you the cruel patterns of the apocalypse, declare an irrevocable truth about the mystery, rewrite or add a facet of a mystery that reflects this truth. And they revealed your destiny as a harbinger, gain one bond with what the darkness demands of you. Or the last option, they tested you ruthlessly and without mercy, mark 1 XP.
Oh, that would be fun sometimes. But I think that in this case, they taught me the cruel patterns of the apocalypse, declare an irrevocable truth about the mystery, rewrite or add a facet of the mystery that reflects this truth. And I think the thing that he said is, death is a passage, and you can go. Most people can't come back. If you're strong, you can. If you're lucky, you can. He goes, but the thing is that how you died will always shape you from that point forward. He goes, that's the way with the apocalypse too. The way that it came, the way that it happens, the way that it's shaping itself will always shape whatever apocalypse always comes later. And I sort of look at this, and I think it's that moment that I see that the oldest house isn't a house anymore, that it's been twisted and bloated into something way outside of itself by the division, as well as the harbingers, that essentially it's the tug of war between, who wants control of it that's making it so distorted. And I think,
do you want to add a facet or rewrite a facet? Because like, for example, just based on what you were saying, instead of missing memories, you could connect it to division memories, oldest house memories, right? Or you could make a new one up.
And I would say that it's the missing memories are stolen secrets.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. So let me, so I'm going to cross out missing memories, and we are going to say that these are instead, I'm sorry, what kind of secrets?
Stolen.
Ooh, stolen secrets. Ooh, very good.
And I think there's that thing of just her realizing that this is all just kind of a weird harbinger version of a big spy movie that's going on in some ways. That this is literally spy versus spy. It's not, if that makes any sense.
Ooh, is that the irrevocable truth we're setting down?
Yeah, I think so.
That division and the oldest house, division and the oldest house are rivals? Is that?
I think the house is the setting. Does that make any sense?
Is the Oracle the rival?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Is Oracle in all caps also?
Oh my gosh, I will talk to Matthew. He will come up with the backgronym. He came up with the one for division.
But no, I think that makes sense. This is this is the spies of the Oracle versus the spies of division. And the oldest house is just caught in the middle, which is why it's trying to reassert itself.
Ooh, the oldest house was caught in the middle. So I want to stress the importance of irrevocable truths in this game. Basically, when you come up with a theory, later when you unlock Doom's door, in case it is the wrong one, if you try again, these irrevocable truths remain. These are always true. So it's a little easier to rebuild a theory each time in case you need to, or even later when we build it the first time, these truths are already in place, right? So that is the power of the shade, the found, and a few other moves if you decide to pick them up. So excellent. So what is the second thing that you're going to choose?
And I think that I'm looking back and I see it's been saying he's picking up those things and again taught me that my potions will only get in the way. So I'm going to clear my vicious
Ooh,
Um,
aw. You became vicious for Vincent, but Vincent made you calm down.
And just like go, okay, I have to not mess this up. So that's just
You see like Vincent like bowing to the bellboys, trying to like give a tip, even, except poor Vincent looks around and takes out a wallet, and instead of money coming out of the wallet, it's a map, because he's in the oldest house, and the oldest house is weird. And but the bellboys are happy to get the map, so as happy as you can tell with someone who has no face to make expressions with. So there is that. But yeah,
they tuck it into their pocket with a certain amount of panache and perkiness. So that's how you
know. That perfect like bellboy.
Pocket. So.
Right. And so, but for the rest of you, the concierge is still like beckoning you over, right? The three of you. And the oldest cat says, we have course arrived. And the oldest cat does that cat wriggle, like, why are you holding me? I didn't want to be held in the first place. Right.
I'll walk over to the concierge. And perfect. Do they have a face or no face?
This one, you realize that as you come close to the concierge, it doesn't have a face at first, but as you get closer and closer, it takes on a face that you want to see.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Is it someone you recognize, or is it just like what would please you to look upon it? Right? Like.
Yeah. I think, I don't think it's necessarily a person that is like, I don't think it's a big person. I think they vaguely remind me of like a ruler from the 1700s that I was close with, but it's definitely not them, right? Like it's just a familiar face from the past, but different enough for me to know it's not them, close enough for me to know that the house is somewhat trying to ingratiate itself to me in the moment.
Perfect.
But yeah, I'll like it's holding out a key, you said.
Right. And so they start to speak, and then suddenly they stop and they correct their voice to match the person you remember a little more closely. I think there's a flashback to this like 17th century person before coming back to this concierge. And just to make sure that from the servants of the oldest house servants of the oldest cat move, you find evidence from your past self about what to do next. The concierge pushes a Betamax towards you, a Betamax tape. Oh my gosh, I was gonna say it's like a smaller version of a VHS tape, but then I have to explain what a VHS tape is. So please look it up in Google like if you don't know what a tape is. Anyway, so they push a Betamax tape towards you, like it doesn't have like a case, right? But there's like, and it's written there, message from Nero for Finn's eyes only, like, but it's written, sorry, Nero, it's written in the scroll of like, I'm trying, I don't want to put too much work into writing this, I just had to put this together. Someone else would have put exclamation points. Nero's not the type, as far as I can tell.
It's accurate, yeah.
Right.
Checks out.
Right. And the concierge like points towards a TV and Betamax player that was not there a moment ago, but is suddenly there, where you can watch it if you like.
Sure. Watch it.
So like as you pop it in, everyone else disappears. It's just you and this monitor and the Betamax player, right? It opens up chonkily, right? You push it in, closes down again, right? And it rewinds itself very politely, right? And presses play by itself. And you see like Nero like peering, like touching at the screen. Is this stupid thing on? And then lets out the sigh and says, all right, so by now, if Eliza's gotten her calculations correctly, and they usually do, this means that this is around the time that we found the fleshy Vincent. and she's going to be very protective of him. And I suppose he's a very nice guy, but he's also dangerous. So, Finn, I need you to do what you got to do that only you can do. And I don't know what that is. You just told me to tell you. And I don't even want to be recording this, but whatever. And Nero stops, like peers at the screen again, turns around, and you hear like this screeching, screaming sound in the background. And Nero says, oh, I have to go back to what I was attending to before this moment. Yeah, bye. There's like this abrupt end, but then the tape rewinds itself again, and it plays itself again. And like this time you see that while Nero is saying those things, there is a version of Vincent that is standing behind him, just watching you through the screen.
Okay.
Totally fine.
Cool.
So you do know that there's something going on with Vincent. It's probably not his fault. That's the impression you're getting.
Right.
Poor Vincent is probably caught up in this war between Oracle and Division in some way. And so is there anything you'd like to do before the Betamax tape starts to mysteriously eat itself?
No, that's good for me.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so the footage disappears right before your eyes. You can see that when the Betamax player opens up, there's no tape inside it anymore. And you're in front of the concierge again. And they give you a little nod. And they say, of course, room 222.
I look at them and I say, I'm sorry, do you know who I am?
Oh, of course. I meant the deluxe suite, room 1313.
Thank you. And then I'm just going to call and I say, Vincent, will you help me with my bag?
Oh, yes, of course. Absolutely. And the bellboys look a little like, they're swarming a bit. And Vincent goes, oh, no, I've got it. I've got it. And Vincent leans over to Eliza and whispers, are they always this bossy?
All three of us are this bossy. It's why we just barely managed to get through these things.
And Tony, I just want to do a quick romance check-in. Are you comfortable with Vincent being attracted to you, or should I X that?
That's fine.
So at this moment, that's when Vincent leans over and says, they're very beautiful. Are they always this beautiful?
And they want to be.
Okay, I'll be right back. You'll be my wing woman, right?
And I think she composes her ghostly facing. Of course.
Are you feeling ignored or unimportant?
I
am. I didn't do it on purpose. I just realized. Would you like to pick us back this tokens or that?
Yes, I will just top myself up with the vinegar that is my life. Okay.
So when I hand Vincent my bag, which is, I only have one bag, like everybody else has tons of bags, but also I know this and no one else, that bag is far heavier than anybody else's bag. Like, it is very small to give the appearance of not having a lot of baggage while overwhelmingly heavy. And as our hands touch, I'm going to use Desire Dressed as Faith, the ruin move that I just took. And I am going to tell Vincent that he will love and serve me above all others. And I'm going to mark 2 rune and add a bond with what the darkness demands of me. This is a ruin move, so it automatically happens, but you know well that worship comes from desire, cruel and selfish. You will imbue them with an uncontrollable desire for someone or something, which in this case is just me. I marked 1 ruin, so this desire becomes permanent for both of us, but they will spread that desire in others. I gain 1 bond with what the darkness describes of me in addition to the 2 room, and if at any point they overcome this, they will attempt to fill the void that having completed it creates by worshiping me in strange ways also too. So
fascinating. Let's see. Yeah. So because you have the same desire, do you also desire yourself above all things, or is it a different?
No,
kind
I
of...
think largely I think Finn has largely this is not a normal thing he does. Like this is using his power this way to force people to worship him is kind of antithetical. It's the kind of thing that a lot of his siblings do that he actively resists doing. So I am largely doing this because Nero told me to do the thing that I can do that no one else can do, which is essentially steal Vincent's devotion from Eliza to myself. And so I don't know why that's going to be useful later, but you know, that's the thing that for Finn made sense. And so yeah, I'm stealing this NPC. So yeah, it is not a normal thing. I think essentially, yes, it feeds the dark part of me that wants to be worshiped and desires. Like I can feel that love and that devotion flooding into me, and it is delightful in the most destructive way possible. And it's 100% the reason that I do not normally do this. And it makes me want to do it more, essentially, I think.
Beautiful, beautiful. I just want to do a brief check-in. Are you okay with this, Sherri?
Yeah, I wanted to check in on that also too.
Oh, I just think it's a lifetime supply of darkness tokens for here on out. For
I will make sure it's
for you. Yeah. It's the moment that the Harbinger side of her became inevitable. There you go. So,
oh my God. Perfect,
no,
perfect.
it's great.
So we see and the thing is, Vincent is aware that you're doing this to him.
Yeah.
But you see his eyes widen, and you've seen what it looks like when someone falls into worship, right? When someone falls into faith. And for him in particular, for Vincent, there is just this overwhelming sense of relief and gratitude, right? There is he is just so relieved to not have to you realize there is an aching void within him, and it will return when the desire for you fades, but for now it is filled and he is at peace, right? And so Vincent eagerly takes your bag. It is ridiculously heavy. He's barely able to drag it across the floor, but he's putting on a brave face because he doesn't want to show what a hard time he's having. The cat is not helping. The cat jumps onto the bag, taking this free ride because heaven forbid the cat walk itself. And so as the 3 of you make it to your room, right, you see the bellboys are ahead of you. You make your way towards 1313. We are going to cut away for a moment, right? And we are going to, the audience sees, right? And the players see that there is this pristine white office. Like everything is white. The walls, the paintings, the table, it almost blends into each other. There's a frame that is blank. There is a picture frame on the desk as well. And everything here is white. The stapler, the accoutrements that you usually find on a desk. And what do you call those things? Those things like that if you start...
Gravity balls is what they, I believe, are called.
They are? That seems very
so.
wow, they should have better name. Anyway,
I think there's a scientific name for them also too, but I could let me
like a perpetual motion sort of situation, right? But yeah, so what are those? So it's also pure white. It starts click clacking against each other
it's
by
called
itself.
a Newton's cradle in science.
Oh, that's like a lot cooler.
It's called a gravity ball in the Sharper Image catalog.
Newton's cradle. Well, admittedly, I think people would be like, "What am I buying with the Newton's cradle?"
Right.
So I suppose that's a good point. And so, the camera shifts and moves, and we see this time it's a cassette tape and a gun laying next to each other on the desk. And the cassette tape starts to play itself, even though it's not in a device of any kind. And we hear this scratchy voice that says, "Our plans have gone awry. The little cracked god has taken one of our pawns, one of our tokens. We are going to have to go with another plan at this point." And then we see a figure moving towards the desk and says, "It is of no matter. The initial stage of the soul transfer has proven successful. The rest of the procedure will go as planned." And I'm going to tick forward the doomsday clock. We got a little bit of intrigue in that moment. So, what's going on the other side with our mysterious harbingers? Whoo, I am drunk with power. Never been this aggressive with the doomsday clock. And the doomsday clock is also something that came up later in development, so it's a lot of fun to use. Okay, so I think when we move down the corridors, we come back. Nero, you suddenly are overwhelmed with this feeling that you're being stalked. What are the signs that one of your copies is stalking the three of you?
Ooh. I think there's like, particularly in the oldest house, which is rather loosely moored to reality. So, I think it has much more in common with dream and nightmare than with the mundane physical world. So I think that sort of the makeup of the house resonates a bit more with dream things, and that includes Nero and his copies. So maybe there's almost like a literal like ripple, maybe, or something like along the hall wall as we're going down it, and it's just sort of like this little like real subtle, just slow way that kind of like fades in and out, but like something had to have stepped into that water, so to speak, to cause the ripple. So
absolutely right. And so you see in the distance, like you recognize your silhouette, and as the other two like move past you, well, other three, including Vincent, move past you, suddenly you hear a voice next to your ear that says, "Perhaps instead of predator and prey, we can become partners. What do you think?" And you see another one of yourselves like looking at you. "What if we could feed you what's beyond the door? What if we could guarantee that you could have a taste of it?" And I am purposely going after one of your demands of darkness. So.
Mm-hmm. So, I think in this moment, Nero sort of lagged behind everybody else. And without like turning to look at, this alternate me who's whispering in my ear, I think just responds, "Oh, it's so very tempting. Why don't I just cut out the middleman? And then I want to eat that person. I want to eat that me."
Let's do it. So do you want to trigger a particular move or? Because if you tell me you just want to eat them, then it can happen. But if there's a particular move that you want to see happen.
There is the gnawing edge of hunger. So surrendering to the hunger within you.
That's
and
true.
perhaps I have developed a taste for the blasphemous after already feeding on several copies of myself.
Ooh, that's so good. Excellent. Yeah. So how many darkness tokens are we going to spend on this?
Let's see. I have one. Have I done something?
Oh yeah, let's check.
To get a darkness token.
Well, you are asking. Ask someone to feed me a part of themselves. So you did just do that.
yeah, I did do that. I'll take 2. Sort of a subtler version of it. So that gives me 3. I'll go ahead and spend 2. Bring me back to 1. And that's an 8.
Nice. So you blunt the worst edges of your hunger and feed on only as much as you need. Perhaps it happens so quickly the other 2 don't even notice. Oh, you are so scary. Okay, so that's like really terrifying. So choose
over
one.
Very quickly.
You push into the ice machine closet real quick and then just step right back into the hallway a second later.
Yeah, that's right. Those places are creepy.
So somehow I've picked up a toothpick somewhere. Flick away.
And we just see like the remnants, the spooled remnants. Oh my gosh. Terrifying.
That toothpick is the worst detail.
It's so good. Okay, so what option do you pick?
I'm going to go ahead and give into the euphoria of the feeding. And I want to create another hunger condition.
Ooh. Yeah. So how does that reflect the euphoria? Like, how do you feel feeding on you, breaking these rules?
Right. Even more. Well, I think, there's something addictive about it, right? So I think just sort of giving into that sweetness there, right? This is something wrong, but oh so right. So I think I'm going to, what would be a good way to phrase this for the hunger condition?
I mean, addicted.
Yeah.
Or giving it. Yeah.
Gluttonous or something like that.
Ooh, that's also delicious.
Right.
It's like really fun. Yeah.
Couldn't say no to this little snack.
Yeah.
just a quick bite.
Perfect. So you leave behind troublesome shades of the subconscious that escape into the world, right? But you're feeding on yourself.
This is fine.
So what part of your subconsciousness do we think escapes? Right.
I think some element of that, like, predator part, right? And like in the literal sense, something that is hunting and feeding. I think it's sort of like more primal aspect of the predator.
Oh, I think what we see is like a shade of the harbinger that we saw earlier, right? So when you leave toothpick, following the rest. Oh my God, awful. Anyway, from the ice machine, this is very X-Files in this moment. The ice machine kind of like just moves by itself for a moment. And then we see like as the ice comes out, instead of like clear, it's like this black, that same black ichor with the many teeth and the many eyes. And it like drops down into the ground and sludges like off, into the other side of the corridor, right? And so as the 3 of you reach room 1313, Vincent is ahead of you and opens the door, and you are overwhelmed by this bright light that comes through. And in the light, we see this bedraggled figure, long hair that reaches down to the ground. They're dressed in like tattered robes, And you can see like through the hair, there are several faces that like, as the hair shifts and moves, the faces like reveal themselves and hide again. And some of the faces are kind and nervous, and other faces are like opened up in this silent screeching, and then other faces are blank, right, over and over again. And that's when you realize that you are in the presence of the oldest witch, and the oldest witch leans in close and says, "You have the dream, don't you, Nero? You ate it just for me, didn't you? All the dreams that you ate, I've been waiting for you. But did you have to give in to your hunger?" And I think that's where we're going to end this session, and we'll see what happens next time.
Awesome. Love it. Love.
But yeah.
Love.
So I think we were going to have a moment to look at our impulses if we got to answer that,
Sure.
right? So let's see. Let's go start with Eliza, right? What was your impulse that you ended up choosing?
Oh, I chose, did you have an intimate or harrowing moment with death?
Mhm.
And death himself didn't show up.
Mhm.
However, I did have that moment with
Oh, yeah.
Essentially,
I think you killed that infiltrator, like just in a really harrowing, intimate way.
yeah, because of the threat of death. So yes.
Will you mark XP or ruin?
I think XP at this point, because I'm going to have to mark some ruin since I didn't get a key again this time.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I changed things, but I haven't picked one up.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
that's fine. Yeah.
So.
Okay, so you go ahead and mark your XP, and then what about Finn? What did you you get to do your impulse?
I chose to betray someone I love. That's such an interesting question, because then essentially the question is, do I love Eliza or not?
I know. Do you?
I think as much as Finn loves anyone, he loves Eliza. Which is exactly how he would phrase it if she was standing there. So
again, just rune tokens. I mean, darkness tokens, as far as I can see,
right.
just because of Finn, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would view this as a betrayal of somebody who I view as an intimate friend, if nothing else, which I think is the way that Finn talks about love outside of his siblings, and so most of whom he would probably have a hard time saying he loved anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, and we're gonna take. I've got some ruin coming my way. We'll take an experience also. For that.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, I just want to say that in the chat, I'm so happy to see. I love both how well Epoxy Keys evokes Hellboy and how far it's gone beyond to become its own thing.
That's such a good comment.
Yeah, and I really do appreciate that. That was really the goal and the aim, and I'm really grateful for all the help I got from Evil Hat and collaborators to make sure that happens. So it's very cool. Okay, and then so very happy for Finn exercising his love in such a wonderful way, exercising their love, in such a wonderful way. How about Nero? Did you get to fulfill your impulse?
So I chose, did you infect another monster with hunger or desire? I don't think specifically. I have some ideas on how I can do more of that in the future. But if I get enough experience, there's a couple of moves that might come in handy.
Yeah. True. I think we came close a few times, but not quite. So yeah. Okay. So and aside from that, do we want to go through end of session now, or do we want to save it for the start, like we did today?
I think we could do end of session now if that works.
Yeah.
For that way we can jump right into play next time also too.
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. So end of session questions, since we did this earlier, we're a little familiar with the concept. Okay. So the first question is, did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity? We'll go backwards, starting with Nero. I feel like we know
I think
the answer.
so. I think so. I did a couple things.
Just a little bit, just a tiny bit. So go ahead, mark XP for that. And then so Finn, did you express your monstrous nature, or I think you did.
I did.
Or your humanity.
Yeah.
100% in that moment with Vincent and Eliza, it felt especially true. And Eliza, I feel like we're really sure about this question today.
No, I did nothing the whole session. I was just, yeah.
Just this innocent, sweet librarian archivist.
Twin moons.
So go ahead and mark XP for that.
Okay.
And then Sherri, I'll ask you the next question. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Yeah, I think Eliza is like really, really how you say relationship motivated. Her loneliness and her feelings of insignificance, that's what's going to be the end of the world. Is going to be.
Oh yeah, and we established how lonely you felt at the beginning of the session too. Well, it's almost like I took advantage of it. So which I didn't do consciously. Okay, so go ahead and mark XP for that. Yeah, and then for Finn, did you learn something significant about yourself or your impending ruin?
Yeah, I think so. I think like Finn has held himself as like has very much held himself apart from his siblings as being like good towards humans, and he is learning more so that when push comes to shove, he will do, especially if he feels like they are drawing near or like he is being threatened in a significant way, that he will enact the exact same things that they will do. And I don't think he necessarily assumed that he was willing to do those things before this point.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And so, Nero, did we learn something significant about you or your impending ruin?
Yeah, I think there was an interesting potential future impending problem of that, like first victim feeding creation there that Nero did that feels significant and could come back to bite him, so to speak.
Absolutely. There are too many good puns that you can use with the hungry, I realize. Okay, and so cycling again to back with Nero, I'll ask you, did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Eliza is stone cold killer, crazy dangerous.
Not just a librarian like we thought.
Just was not expecting that from.
And you were already scared of her, right?
Right.
So now
Nero does his best to like mentally sort, Dread Archivist Eliza Corbin for his own sake. It's just like harmless nerd. No.
It's true. We saw her not hesitate at all.
It was just bam.
We are doing a ruin move. And so, Finn, did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Yeah, I mean, I think similar thing. Like, this is like, and I think for Finn, the like learning is Eliza can do interesting things. Like it is housed in an entirely different, like totally haughty perspective of, like here's somebody who I constantly dismiss and think of as a functionary, but also look at the like really powerful thing they just did. Like I said, it's the same moment, but it's a very different like take on that same moment.
100%. Okay, excellent. And so, Eliza, did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Yes, I learned that Finn is a he's betrayed me.
He's a
I thought he was something separate and divine, and all not to get involved in these.
What
human
is divinity if you don't feel
matters,
betrayed by it every once in a while?
Exactly.
Just as
Turns
horrible as the
out,
rest of us.
yeah. Turns out a holy war's coming. Okay, so yes.
I'm trying to mute my ridiculous laughter. Oh my god. Okay. Very true. And so, Eliza, I will ask you, did you uncover at least one key of the apocalypse or attempt to unlock Doom's door? I think the answer is no, right?
No, I did a million things, but not that. That is
you get to mark
that is my third room move.
Yeah. Ooh, we are racking things up. We are racking through our advances.
Yeah.
So just for people watching, there is a limited number of rune advances. It's fairly generous, right? But once you go through all of them, the last one available to you is to become a harbinger, right? I will say though that it doesn't have to be the last one. I've had players who pick that one up. Yeah, exactly. So at any time, right? But basically that is when there's no other one available, one has to become a harbinger. But yeah, very good, very good. This is why I said Apocalypse Keys characters don't last long. But we are at 50% off, so that's why things are moving
50% off.
It's
a little faster.
It's moving very fast.
Yeah, my character is going to be crazy, more powerful next time.
Perfect. All right. And Tony, did you get to grasp for a key today? I think it was only Nero that did.
Yeah, it was only Nero.
Okay, perfect. So go ahead and mark rune as well. Nero, despite all the terrible things you did today, you did in fact grasp a key. So just to look at the state of our mystery map, we are at 4 ticks.
Love it. All right. Well, we are going to be back next Saturday for maybe the last, maybe the second to last session of our series. But between now and then, on the 13th, which I was going to say Tuesday, and I think I'm right, on Tuesday, Apocalypse Keys goes live on Kickstarter. If you have not yet, you need to head over to TTRPG.link/KeysKS to go ahead and hit follow on that. We're one away from 1,600. If you haven't, you should go do it right now so we can say, hey, while on stream, we crossed that 1,600 mark. I'm going to drop the link in right now just so people have the opportunity to head over there if they have not yet, just to hit follow so they get notified when it goes live. We will have an interview with Ray. If you're wondering like how characters get built, how characters get made, we are going to have an interview with Ray coming up as part of Cult EXE's character study here on stream, so hit follow for that. It was going to be tomorrow. We are moving it because we had a team member who needed to reschedule due to some health issues. So we'll have that coming soon. I'm very excited for y'all to see how characters get made. Actually, I think my advice to them was make at least 2 characters so that you can do the Bond actual part on stream, because I think that's such a huge part of everything. And so that was my advice to Sarah and Keegan. So keep an eye out for that. We'll have stuff coming up out over on Twitter whenever that's available. In the meantime, we've got other great streams coming up. We've got some phenomenal things we're going to be playing over the next couple of weeks. We've got Killer Ratings coming this Friday. Keegan's going to be running that game here on stream. It is a reality TV ghost hunting show where the ghosts turn out to be real. It's a GM-less game. I'm very excited to play with the folks over at Bannerless Games. Actually, I'm very excited to not play it. I'm very excited to watch other people play it because I love that here at Plus One we're starting to have other people on stream just besides me, and that we get to see more amazing voices. So Keegan's going to be running that stream. I'm very excited about it. Come back and join us for that, or next Saturday for our next session of Apocalypse Keys. And then the following Sunday, we've got Made for the Void, which is how to hack our house system through the Void, which is a OSR-inspired narrative RPG using the Together We Go system. But come back for that if you want to. And if not, you can check it all out over on YouTube. In the meantime, though, head over to TTRPG.link/KeysKS. Now that I've vamped for a little while, I'm going to hit refresh again. We're still at $15.99. All right. Well, it didn't happen on stream.
So close.
We got a little bit closer, though. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait for the game to launch. Ray, I know y'all made a big announcement this week. Can you tell us a little bit about the cover reveal that happened this week?
That's right. So I was so excited about it. So we have a special edition cover. I was floored with the suggestion that Apocalypse Keys would get one for the crowdfunding. So basically our special edition cover, it's all black, right? And it'll have this really fancy spot gloss. Ooh, the term is like UV spot gloss, I think. Finish on top of it. So it's featuring art by the amazing Jan Butler. I've worked with Jan in the past before, and their art is just absolutely amazing. I think Jan is like single-handedly my favorite artist who's so good at like for a non-binary artist, they're very good at binary art. It's really funny. But like this whole black and white situation, their art's really good though. In general, you should definitely check it out. And so what's really extra special about it, and we didn't even reveal the back part because like it's this full art piece. There's like a panel in the front and the panel at the back. And what's also extra cool is that the art is inspired by Josh's mystery, The Parasitic Library. I don't want to spoil exactly what it is, but the cover features a mysterious door and a lot of Kirby Crackle, which I requested because I love the Kirby Crackle comic nonsense. There's a mechanical heart, and at the back is a really beautiful rendition of a Harbinger, just absolutely gorgeous. I won't spoil what it looks like. And so what's really cool is like it's completely black, so when it's on your bookshelf it'll just look like this mysterious black tome, but when you pull it out and like the UV spot like stuff will like reflect against the light, and that's when you're going to see the full image. So which is reminiscent of how we look for keys and try to grasp at the truth of things. I cannot take any credit for any of these ideas. They were all like the Evil Hat team who came up with it. I suggested Jan though. I really wanted Jan too.
Awesome.
Because the moment they were describing it, I was like, oh, Jan's gonna kill it. Like they'll just kill it. I just know it.
Here's the good news that got us up to 1,600
followers. Oh, we did it on stream. Tony, you were so good at this. No.
I don't know if it was Fatal the Baptist, but Fatal the Baptist is in chat saying this is going to bring me back to Kickstarter after years away. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back.
I understand.
And so we're big fans of Evil Hat. They do phenomenal games. We're big fans of Ray because Ray also makes phenomenal games. So I'm very excited to see this game coming out with them and all the cool stuff y'all are going to get to do over the course of the campaign. Super excited to play. Can't wait to be back here with Josh and Sherri next week. We have never figured out a good way to end streams, and at this point, we're not even going to try. We're just all going to wave at the screen until I take us offline. We'll see y'all next week.
See you next
Bye-bye.
week.